beautiful wife, Becca. She obviously, give her a round of applause. I'm obviously gone a lot during the season, and then probably more than you guys would like to know during the off season. So she gets to deal with our 3 children more than she should, and then she's obviously also extremely good at her job. So she has a lot of duties there that she needs to accomplish. So without her, we couldn't do any of this. So I just want to thank her a lot. So thank you, Becca. Next, assistant coaches. So I don't think that many people totally understand kind of like how lucky our program is to have as many coaches as we do and the amount of effort that they put into kids. So most of you probably don't see it and don't get to appreciate it. But I grew up in a program that wasn't very, I don't want to say it, but they weren't very like, the JV didn't get, their dues, and then the 3rd string guys didn't get their dues, and the 4th string guys. So, to see a group of coaches that pour into each athlete in our program is impressive. So our assistant coaches do a ton. I delegate probably more than I should to guys like Coach Morrow and Coach Evans, and Coach Brad and Coach Sam, and those guys do a lot more than everyone understands. So I just want to thank them a lot. And then obviously our community, give them a round of applause. Yeah. I want to thank the community. Obviously you guys showed out tonight, so that's awesome. You guys came and supported all of our guys on at state duels, and we had a great crowd, and we always have a great student section. So just want to thank you guys a ton, and hopefully we can continue this run and you guys continue to support us. And then I'd like to also thank our admin. I know Pat's here. He set all this up, and he does a lot more for duels before everything gets going that people don't see. And then, our school board and our principal and our AD are also very supportive. A couple stats on the year, just kind of talking through how well we did. I think at the beginning of the year, us as a coaching staff knew that we had a good team. I don't think we knew how great of a team we had. And it took a little while to get there, but obviously, as you guys can see up here, we did. So we were 21-2 as far as our dual record. Our 2 losses were to out-of-state teams, both ranked in the top 20 to 25 in the country. We had a combined dual score of 1,205 and 434, so an average of 52 to 19 dual score win. So that's super impressive. And then obviously we finished with the dual state title, as you guys can see up here. As far as individual goes, we had 10 state place winners, 8 in the top 4, and 5 state champions, which is, I believe, the Southeast Polk record. So that was a super awesome year. And then, like I kind of said before, not knowing how good of a team this was. Last year, obviously, we had a great year, and we knew going into that year we were going to have a great year. So this year was really special because we scored the 2nd most team points ever with 229, and I don't think people really understood how good this team was, and we kind of started to feel it at the end of the year, especially after Cheesehead. We kind of, made some adjustments, and guys, entered into the lineup that weren't there previously, and we really just made a really good run at the end of the year. 229 points is unbelievable, and I think these guys deserve another round of applause. A couple of things I just want to end with here. So these are things that I was proud of this year. I probably don't do a very good job of communicating that with these guys very often. But our senior leadership this year was amazing. Obviously, on senior night we had 20 seniors, and these guys did a really good job of leading the team throughout the year, where us coaches didn't have to do as much as maybe in years past, where this team did a really good job of coming together and really enjoying each other and kind of making it more of like a team atmosphere, where in the past couple of years maybe there wasn't that same. All 14 really love each other and support each other. So that was super awesome to see. And then, us coaches can only do so much. So we had guys like, obviously Will and Nash, I think, are going to get up here and speak, but they did a really, really good job this year of kind of, melding our team together and making sure our team was, focused and working hard, but also having fun and enjoying the season too. So that was one thing I was super proud of. Next thing was, and I'm sure you guys that went to the state tournament got to see it, but just how well everyone supported each other. So, after every win or loss, we had a group of kids and coaches, and then obviously you guys above the tunnel that got to walk in and kind of like, either build us up, if we had a tough loss, or really be there to support each other, on those big wins. And it was really fun to watch kind of that blood round where guys were going from mat to mat, and I know for Kale and for Nash and for Dawkin, those guys were there mat side, and then they made sure to sprint on over to the tunnel to really support each other. And then semis, obviously, we had a really good round, and it was just really fun to kind of follow those guys into the tunnel and watch them, celebrate with each other. So I was super proud of that. And then one thing we talked about too before, I think the quarterfinal round, was just having no regrets and just wrestling with like full effort in the entire tournament. And I think obviously you guys saw that those last couple of days. So I think when other teams kind of willed, we have a schedule that's built us to like compete hard in those last couple of days. And 9 of our 10 guys finished odd on the weekend, right? So our 10 place winners, 9 of those guys finished odd, and then the one guy that didn't outplaced his seed. So I think that just shows that our team was ready to go, and they competed with full effort, and they had no regrets at the end of the tournament. So super proud of that. They did obviously an awesome job. The second most team points ever really, really showed that. And then lastly, I just kind of want to thank and I talked about our coaching staff, but we send our guys to 3 to 5 different tournaments every weekend. Coach Evans makes sure on some Thursdays he sends his teams to God knows where in small town Iowa to compete against other varsity teams as well. And, that kind of puts some of our other JV guys in some tougher spots, but that's kind of the point of this whole thing, and that's really what Coach Morrow and Coach Evans have tried to do with our schedule. And I think that's really showing where we had a bunch of guys this year that stepped into roles that they maybe people didn't understand that they were prepared for, but obviously they were. And then I know this upcoming year, obviously we have some guys that weren't in our lineup this year that will make those big adjustments and will do really well at the next level when they get called up. So just really want to thank our coaching staff. They do a really, really good job. And then lastly, I know that we've kind of been, and we use this as motivation as far as like being told that we are a dying dynasty, like the train is coming off the tracks, and all of these things. And I just want to let everybody know that is not going to happen. We have a great JV team that is going to step in. We have guys returning. We have guys coming back that are going to do great things. So I can promise you that we're going to continue to do everything we can and fundraise and practice and compete and do all those things to get back here. So I am hopeful, and I plan on talking to you guys at the same time. Even though I dislike it very much, I plan on that, and I know that we're going to do all the things that we need to do to do that. So that's all I got. I will let Coach Evans come up and talk, but thank you guys again. It was an awesome season.
The only guy I have to follow and raise the microphone, so it's kind of nice. It's funny, Coach Agnish and I didn't really speak at all, really actually the past couple of days, probably kind of recouping and trying to get ourselves right. But a lot of the same themes that he had, you're going to probably hear them from me, just kind of like we're on the same wavelength and the same core beliefs in regards to why this program's having success. So a lot of this is going to be repeated, just coming from a different perspective. On Saturday night at Fireside, which was awesome, by the way, that was probably one of the funnest nights that I'd had in a long time. Coach Jessamine looks at me and kind of grins, and he goes, wildest dreams could you have ever imagined? And I just looked at him and I said, 25 years ago when I started this, started coaching, literally I didn't have anything else better to do. I was 22, 23 years old, and I was single, living in Des Moines, just working just a regular, 7:30 to 4 job, and I just literally didn't have anything else better to do. So I'm like, I might as well coach a little bit of wrestling, and so here I am, 25 years later. For the past 20 years, I do believe that we've had the best wrestling program in the state. We've been up against other good or even great teams in the shape and forms of Bettendorf, Valley, Fort Dodge, Waukee Northwest, Waverly Shell Rock, and now Indianola. And we aren't always going to win, and we always haven't won. And that's okay. That's what makes sports beautiful. Those early losses to the Dan Knights Bettendorf teams in the 2010s made us the program that we are today. But I'll still argue, nobody has been as consistent as us. And if you're going to win a 3A title in wrestling, it's going to come through Southeast Polk City. How does this happen? Number one, our administration allowing us to travel out to get this out-of-state competition that Coach Agnich referenced. Our administration willing to put multiple buses on the road every Saturday morning for all of our guys to compete. I've said this over and over again, is that nobody does a better job on getting on cold and early buses on Saturday mornings. The support that we receive from our fundraising efforts and our growing alumni base, the state fairgrounds cleanup is a massive endeavor. Our youth tournaments that our kids work at, the golf outing that Coach Cook almost single-handedly runs, are reasons why our kids are able to travel and compete in the off-season, along with going to team camp. Our fan support. I sold nearly 300 tickets for the Saturday night finals, and then that doesn't include all the people that already had tickets. That matters. Our guys love it. And then when you have 63 teams in 3A rooting against you, and a few others, it's nice to have a few friendly faces in the stands. Our athletic training staff, thank you to Faith for taking care of our guys this past month and keep them healthy and on the mat. Our managers are the best in the business. They have created a championship culture within themselves. Our mats are always washed, the singlets are sorted, they never miss our buses, and all the matches get videoed. In our program, they probably have the most underappreciated job, but I know that we cannot do it without them. Our junior high coaching staff is incredible. We had 40 freshmen out for the team this year, and we had nearly 90 kids out in our 7th and 8th grade room. This did not happen by accident. Those guys are magnets for kids, and we want those kids to keep on coming. And I know tonight isn't about the coaching staff, but there isn't anybody in Iowa that puts in more work and more time and more travel than Jake Agnich. And this is all the work and time and travel that I know about. It's hard telling what else that I even don't know about. We had a wrestling parent that affectionately called Jake assistants a bunch of foot soldiers. It was probably the best compliment that we could have ever received. No egos, no BS, no job too big, no job too small, just a bunch of guys that will do anything for kids. The spouses and significant others and children of the coaching staff probably make the biggest sacrifices of us all. If you see them, tell thank you. And Becca's going to get mad at me for saying this, but especially her 3 kids. More than anything, this really doesn't happen without the parents and the kids. And this is what tonight is all about. You can have the best facilities, the greatest tradition, a coaching staff that'll do anything for kids, all the support in the world, but it doesn't really matter unless you have the right people in the program. So to all the kids and parents in this program, the varsity kids, the junior varsity kids to our managers, these championships, trophies, and those banners, those are yours. Be proud of that. And I'd be remiss not to mention our junior varsity program, the impact that they had on this year's team. This year's state lineup had a total of 18 years of junior varsity experience, and that doesn't include Lucas Runyon's time in the lineup for a lot of the season. Because that is a lot of time with Coach Evans and Coach Morrow, and remarkably, none of them quit. I was like a proud parent watching these kids grow up over 3 months in the varsity lineup and compete at the end of the season like champions. Outside that, we had Nate Slay with multiple wins over state placements throughout his senior campaign. Additionally, I watched Lucas Runyon, Tyler Cunningham, Sammer, Gabe Kingery provide tough workout partners for our varsity guys. And I'll keep on saying it, but Demasio McGowan has the toughest job out of everyone. He has to wrestle a mirror every day. And that doesn't include the 60 other junior varsity guys in our program that deserve credit, with many of them waiting and working, looking to jump at their chance. We're always looking for the next Nass Hanson, Doc and Belleduc, Cale Roberts, and Taylor Floyd. The season was rewarding in many ways, but mostly because everyone sort of had counted us out after last season, after we graduated half our lineup. Much like they're probably hoping our reign of terror is over after we graduate these 8 seniors. I don't know what's going to happen next year, but I've been around this for a while, and I found that history has a funny way of repeating itself. I think I'm going to stick around and find out. Go Rams.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Your support truly means more than words can express. Wrestling may look like an individual sport, but no one succeeds alone. A special thank you to Doug and Janice for never missing an event, and to all of our other incredibly committed fans and families. You showed up all season long, you helped create something bigger than wins and losses, and this team felt that support every time they stepped onto the mat. We all carried a target on our backs this season. We earned respect, and with that came expectation. Match after match, duel after duel, we were tested. When everything came down to the seconds, we trusted our preparation, trusted our instincts, and lived in the moment. Life and wrestling are a lot like reading a book. You can't turn back the page, and for those of you, like me, who don't read a ton of books, we at least know they have pages. That's the analogy. Once a match ends, once a season is over, it's written forever. This season became one of those chapters, and we wrote it ourselves. If you're victorious, you'll carry those memories for the rest of your life, and if things don't go your way, you may spend years wondering what could have been. Winning matches and winning duels isn't what matters most, but there's never an excuse to hold anything back. Giving everything you have, every time you step on the mat, and in how you live every day determines winning. The toughest opponent any of us will ever face is ourselves. Our doubt, our fear, and our hesitation. And this season, we all face that opponent again and again. We had the chance to make our parents proud, our families proud, our school proud, and most importantly, to make ourselves proud. And the way we competed, supported one another, and represented this program shows we did exactly that. Years from now, no one will remember the score of a single match. What lasts is the effort, the sacrifice, the friendships, and the character built through every practice and every challenge. Be proud of what we all accomplished, and carry what you learned here into everything that comes next. Thank you again for believing in this team, supporting us, and supporting this program. Welcome. Go Rams.
Alright, this might be rough, so just hang with me. To everyone here, my teammates and coaches, parents and fans, thank you. For 3 years of my career, I was on Jeff's varsity. That meant there was a lot of early mornings, cold buses, late nights, and hard work most people never saw. But I continued to show up, and you all kept showing up too. Towards the end of my career, I made a mistake and got in some big trouble, and at that moment, I felt like I let everyone down. I was disappointed in myself, and to be honest, I didn't know what my future in this program would look like. But one thing's for certain, nobody here turned their back on me. My coaches didn't give up on me, my teammates stuck with me through it all, and my parents supported me day after day. And this whole program fought through a moment with me, instead of letting it define me as a person. My senior year was about one thing, getting the most out of the opportunity I was given. I didn't want to look back with regrets about what I should have done, so I worked my butt off in the room and competed like every point mattered. Then came the state tournament, in the same place I grew up going to year after year. The same arena I watched my brother compete. This year, I didn't only watch the Rams, I placed third. A dream I've had for a very long time. The medal's cool and all, but more importantly, it's most importantly a testament to the journey I went through to get to this point. 3 years of JV, one huge mistake, a bunch of doubt, and a ton of people who never left my side. Wrestling taught me that success isn't a straight line. It's messy and it's very hard. Sometimes you'll fail, but if you're surrounded by the right people, you'll turn life-changing moments into unforgettable memories. To these boys next to me and the ones in the stands over there, you're more than teammates. You're my brothers for life. To my coaches, thank you for holding me to a very high standard and believing in me when it would have been easier not to. And to my parents, thank you for the sacrifices you guys made and the never-ending support you showed me every day. I started this journey as a JV kid trying to find where I fit in best. I'm leaving as a state placer, but more importantly, I'm leaving as a better man because of this program. Thank you for being a part of my story, and go Raiders.
All right, I get the luxury of going last. Hard to follow Nash Hansen per usual. Everything that I want to say has pretty much already been said, so I'll tell a few stories and I'll brag about each one of these guys individually. But the first thing that hasn't been said is 16-time state champions. You know, we haven't won every year, but we're getting pretty close. We do have a dozen second-place finishes and maybe 3 third-place finishes, but you know, for the past 15, 16 years, this has been the most consistent team in the state. We've placed usually first or second for 15 straight years. We've been in the state dual finals 14 of the last 15 years. Imagine any other program going to the championship game, basketball, football, whatever the case may be. 14 of the last 15 years. It's an insane number. You know, we've always been kind of breaking our own records along the way. But if you look at the Iowa High School Athletic Association wrestling stat book, with maybe I'm a little too obsessed with, we are now climbing all the all-time records. We are now the all-time leader in 3A dual state championships with 8. We passed Waverly with 7 and the old school Dowling with 6. We had 5 state champions this year. That's second all-time. We have 18 consecutive dual appearances. That's first all-time by 4 or 5, and trust me, we're not stopping anytime soon. And that's because these guys show up and they do the work day in and day out. Other numbers to think about are Coach Jake Agnich in his official 6th, unofficial 7th year as head coach. He has 7 state championships right now. That makes him the all-time, or it makes him the current leader in 3A state championships in the state. And he's, how goddamn old are you, Jake? 32? Becca, how old is he? He's 32. He's 32 years old. He's got like 20 years of coaching left potentially. And he's already the best to have done it in the state. So crazy accomplishment by Coach Agnich. The numbers are gaudy, you know, in the past 3 years, and, you know, most of these guys have been on those teams, or a lot of those guys have been in this teams for 3 years, where we scored 221.5, and then state record 259.5, and then this year 229. Our average margin of victory is 77 points. If you look at Waverly's three-peat, or you look at any other teams out there, they average winning by somewhere between 1 and 10 points. And we're putting up 7 or 8 times more margin of victory against those guys. What was crazy about this team is we had another Friday night lockup. Those are supposedly super rare. But man, we're just ticking them off like crazy. We just did 3 in a row. And so we win this, you know, we win this on Friday night, and these guys show up on Saturday and go crazy. When they don't have to, we don't even have to show up on Saturday, and we've already won the tournament. And these guys go bonkers. A 12-1 Saturday for the hardest rounds, the championship rounds, the middle rounds, with a 93% winning percentage. is insane. They go 5 for 5 in the finals. They went 5 for 5 in the finals and didn't surrender a single takedown against the other best guy in the entire state. That's insane. Absolutely insane how these guys went off. I know you guys are proud. The alumni that have come through this program, look at this. Look at this group of kids with all, maybe even more so than last year. You know, last year's team, we knew before the season ever started that we were the best team of all time. We knew we were going to break the record, and it takes some audacity to do that. This team shows up, and there's a term of art we use in wrestling called too stupid to lose. And what that means is they don't know that they're not as good as everybody else, so they're just going to go out and win anyways. And this team proved a lot of people, and probably the coaching staff, in part wrong. They were too stupid to lose because they racked up the second highest point total of all time, 229, and the goal is just to wipe Waverly off the books altogether. We're going to get there, guys. So super proud of you. You know, that 12-1 day, I have some phone call with my brother who's an alum and state champ and co-founder of the Iron Rams with myself. And I said to him, I think Saturday was the funnest day of coaching wrestling I've ever had. And he said, that's amazing. You're 16 years or 17 years into coaching, and you just had the funnest day of coaching you've ever had. 12-1 means that we had the fewest broken hearts of any day that we've ever had. Guys go 5 for 5 in the finals. We're not consoling anybody that lost. That means 5 guys got what they wanted, and 9 didn't quite get there, and that's more than we've ever had. And so we had an alumni write a check the other day for $5,000 for the 5 state champs that we had. So that's a big deal on the program. It's expensive running this program, guys. I tell you what, I spent $500 on burritos Saturday morning for these guys. So, but it worked, right? 100% worked. So I won't take too much more of you guys' time. So I just want to talk about each of these guys. I also want to add the state dual finals. You know, this program grew up in the shadows of last year's program and then ended up kind of blowing it out of the water in some aspects, including state dual finals. We won by 46 points, 51 or 57 to 16. That's 41 points. Largest margin of victory we've ever had in the finals. And guys, the three-peat that we just put together is the most dominant piece of wrestling in any class in the history of the state of Iowa. It's an absolute monster, and trust me, everybody wants us to fail. At the beginning of the season, to the Just Varsity guys know this, they went up to the Luther camp to do a dual tournament in the summer, and the rest of our guys are out at the Fargo Junior National Championship. So most of the then varsity guys are in Fargo. All of the other Just Varsity guys are up at Luther camp, and they're wrestling North Scott. And North Scott has 8 returning qualifiers and place winners, and you name it. And our guys come back and say, oh, North Scott was chirping at us the whole time saying, oh, you lost half your team. You lost Cooper Martinson. You lost Carl Pearson. You guys aren't going to be good this year. You'll be lucky if you make the duels. You'll be lucky if you make the state duels. And then Jeff's varsity went out and beat whatever they were ranked 3rd or 4th ranked, supposedly, North Scott at that time, with a bunch of JV kids who wanted to prove themselves otherwise. So that's when we knew right away, like, oh, yeah, we're going to be okay. We knew we could win, but man, these guys shattered everybody's expectations, and the 5 for 5 is just what an amazing night. Every kid gave an interview, and Amir comes off the mat, and he's giving an interview, and he says 1 for 5. It's Woody's turn, and then Woody comes off, and he says 2 for 5. And it's Nico's turn, yeah. There's 5 of them, right? So it's Nico's turn, and Nico comes off, and he's like 3 for 5. It's Will's turn, and then Justice wins, and he gets in the face of the Indian, like 5 for 5, baby. And he did not give an interview because he had his head in a garbage can at that point in time. He's not used to having to wrestle for the state finals championships, but he got it. Got it done. All right. So let's talk about each of these guys real quick. Sorry, what's that? Okay. Let's start 106. Amir Newman Winfrey, 45-1. He had the most pins on the team. He had second most takedowns. He had the most bonus point victories. He showed up to the state wrestling tournament. He showed up for the season, and he was a bolt of lightning. He is unbelievably powerful. He is unbelievably fast. Everybody has his eyes on him, and what they don't know is he didn't look like that 4 months ago. And that was his work that he put in with Agnich, that he put in with other guys. Amir, after every practice after they was in blast doubles where he was driving 165 or 175 pounders from one end of the mat to the other. I mean, we had to pull Doc and Billadou out because he hurt his chest from Amir hitting so hard with blast doubles. So what an insane performance. Second period tech fall by Amir, state champion, 1-for-1. Jackson Bestall. I tell you what, probably almost nobody here on this team has put in more time than Jackson Bestall. He shows up for absolutely everything. And he improved so drastically throughout the course of the year. Became a state qualifier, learned, we knew he was good. He had some other propensities that would defeat him, but man, did he grow offensively, defensively, and he just learned to fight for his team. So he didn't quite get what he wanted as a place winner, but for Jackson to be a state qualifier is a massive accomplishment considering where he started. Matt Prine had another amazing year. He fought a shoulder injury all through the summer, didn't get back to us until essentially January. I know that's not where Matt wanted to end up. I think if he wrestles that semis match again, he wins that. I think he wins the finals. I know he can be the champ. He knows he can be the champ. He fought back for the team and beat a very tough Ben Walsh to get third. And what a great effort by Matt Prine, and big things out of him next year. Eddie Woody Jr. Eddie Woody put on his second dominant year. He had the toughest bracket in the state. He had 4 Division I guys in that bracket. None of the pundits out there had him picked. They had Pierce picked, or they had this guy picked, or whatever. But Eddie Woody Jr. could have made 120. It wouldn't have been that hard for him. But he wanted the toughest bracket. He said it all year long. It wasn't just talk. He meant that in a way that most people don't understand. He went out and controlled 2 extremely good opponents. Lightning quick takedown in the finals to reshape that match. And so Eddie Woody Jr. just got the finalist for the Dan Gable Award, one of the 3 top wrestlers in 3A in the state, just because of how hard that bracket was and how hard of a season he had. Some of the out-of-state guys we wrestled were insane. Nash Hansen, he likes to grab the microphone and cry about it, but I'm just kidding, buddy. I don't think the community could be prouder. And by the way, Eddie Woody Jr. winning his second title, he's 2 for 2. Nash Hansen, he's the hometown favorite, right? Born and raised, put his time in on Jeff's varsity, got some sparse opportunities here and there, and then we put him in a lineup and he blows up. That's really what, a key factor of our program is. Your superstars put you in the hunt for titles, and your other guys come up and they win it for you. So there's no doubt that Nash was a leader on the team, a leader for himself, and watch him scrap. Nobody had tougher matches day in and day out inside the room, or you get back out to any tournament. Man, he had to scrap tooth and nail every single match, but that was just another day for him, another day of scrapping with Nico or Woody or Will or whoever was in front. So congrats to Nash on that 3rd place finish. Nico DeSalvo, 3-time state champion, 3 for 3, incredibly consistent, massively aggressive, and man, does he know how to win those big matches and make them look a little bit easy. Nico's on track to be a 4-timer, to be the 35th or 36th 4-timer in Iowa history. It'll be our 2nd, but looking forward to what Nico's going to do next year too. It's going to be a fun year with him. So he's got 3. Will Ober-Rockland, very much the leader of the team, the heart of the team. Everybody loves how gritty he wrestles. Everybody hates how he, couldn't quite pull it out in the state finals last year, but he got it this year. I gave him a big hug and said, "Hey, buddy, you did it." He said, "No, we did it." And it's not just me and him, it's everybody. We did it. So what a great leader. Justice Jessaroga does what Justin does, and he makes everything looks so good and so effortless and just beats really good guys consistently. Incredible match by him. Again, not surrendering a point. He didn't even touch our legs this time around. The previous match, he'd gotten on his legs, and Justice decided he didn't like that. But what an incredible season by him, and just maybe the funnest guy to watch. Insofar as you never know what's coming next. He can hit things that nobody else can hit. He can wrestle in spaces that nobody else. It's kind of confusing to the coaching staff how good he is and the things that he can do. And so it's just a pleasure to watch him. But he's always been good, but he just got competitive and he just got tough, and he just decided he was done losing. So awesome season by him. Alex Penscover wrestling to 7th place. I know that's not what he wants. You know, Alex Soket-Wet's 154 pounds. He's probably a 144-pounder wrestling 157. But he battled for the team. He had a short season due to eligibility from coming here, and he made the best of it. And we're looking forward to him next year as well. Dokken Billadou, probably the most improved wrestler on our squad. He was a qualifier last year, and then this year, was ranked as high as second at times. His pace, his offense, some of the things he eliminated from his wrestling, it was a true pleasure to watch Dokken grow. Come all the way back to 4th. He wrestled above his seed, and he might have been the one loss on Saturday. But man, I tell you what, that's just crazy season by him. It's funny that each one of these guys have crazy seasons. Taylor Floyd, and Jeff's varsity guy, comes up and initially kind of lost him. By all means, maybe just doesn't belong there yet. But he keeps showing up. He keeps doing the work. He puts in the hard yards. And next thing you know, he's funky as can be. He's dangerous. He's pinning a bunch of ranked guys. And it takes a wrestler and a coaching staff to get to understand each other and how they're going to wrestle, and how they're going to win, and what the vocabulary is, and when we're doing certain things. And so we found that stride with him. He made huge jumps this year. Didn't quite get the medal that he wanted, but state qualifier, blood round, always exciting to watch. We've always got one of those guys on the team that's just going to wrestle his guts out, and he could be down 14-0, and it doesn't matter. Like, there's got to be a pin in there somewhere. That was T. Floyd. Scott Smith, come a long ways too. He's had a shoulder injury for 2 years. This year, he just decided it didn't matter how bad it hurt. Like, literally just decided, I don't care how bad it hurts. I'm going to win. Really started to develop his style, winning a bunch of big matches. So proud of him. He's got another year left. We're hoping to put him on the podium next year. LaFoy, I don't know if LaFoy made it tonight, but LaFoy was kind of compromised this year with things that he had going on. But he kept showing up. He kept wrestling for us to put him in the state tournament. Was a big accomplishment and a great guy to have around. And then Cale Roberts, the big guy, he is what you want in a big guy, and that is somebody who's not going to stand on any BS from any other team. So if somebody disrespected one of his wrestlers, if somebody disrespected the coaching staff, Cale Roberts was the enforcer. He made sure that that wasn't going to happen again. And this is the guy who was out as a freshman, hurt for 2 years in football, and then comes back out. He's essentially a first-year wrestler this year. And he's so big and he's so damn strong. He will grab the coaching staff from behind and just go, oh, God damn it, don't stop, and just drops us instantly. He is crushingly strong, and he's brutal, and he's mean. And I tell you what, we didn't learn to do a whole lot of wrestling, but we learned how to do a whole lot of winning. And so him beating the Waverly kid for that 7th place freaking pumped us up, winning that last match of the night. I don't know if that was Thursday or Friday night. LaFoy winning the Johnston match was one of our favorite matches of the tournament as well. So good to have those big guys that have our backs, that want to finish the way we start. So overall, what a crazy team. Second best points team in the history of the state. Holds some wins as far as number of state champions over that team from last year. And then the thing that we heard from North Scott last year, oh, you're out of seniors, you're in trouble. We're starting to hear again right now from some of our other opponents, specifically Indianola, they've got a big team next year. They've got 9, and they say, just wait till next year. Well, I tell you what, I've been waiting for next year for 17 years now. It ain't coming. It ain't coming anytime soon. It ain't coming on my watch. It ain't coming on these guys' watch. Go Rams.